All right, some brief remarks about our last game. Again, I told the team I'm sounding like a broken record, and I'm happy to, because I feel like our last three performances are very similar. I thought we did what we had to do to win the football game, offensively, defensively, on special teams, and as a team in terms of penalties. I thought we were efficient on offense. We did have the one turnover. You know, I thought UAB did a nice job containing Charles Sims, kind of eliminating big plays by him. We had the one right before half, which I think might have been his long rush. But again, we still gave him the ball in the 25 times or so in that kind of that region, that area, and was still extremely productive. You know, we got him out in space. We went a special formation with 4 receivers to one side, motioned him out, got a matchup we liked, and threw him a ball which got us down to inside the 10. So we still had some creative ways to get him the football, and I liked what we did offensively. Obviously, Shane Ross had a big game, and it's kind of been a tale this season of, besides Charles Sims, you know, going into a game kind of seeing what the defensive plan is going to be. And then whether it's Dwayne Peace, Deontay Greenberry, Daniel Spencer, Larry McDuffie, Ronnie Williams, and then this time Shane Ross, it kind of we see what their plan's going to be, and then based on the offensive game plan, it just kind of works out that way where a guy or two at the receiver position has a big afternoon. So defensively, again, I was pleased with our effort. We got a couple of turnovers. We had 8 quarterback sacks. We had 12 statistically quarterback hits. I liked our pressure. I liked our guys flying around. We didn't really get to specifics with this game in terms of, as a coaching staff, grading it like we normally do. So I don't know. I don't have a count on some missed tackles, but I liked our effort defensively, and. In the kicking game, I thought we did well. You know, I thought Matt Hogan performed very well. Obviously, he was the conference player of the week for special teams, set a conference record with the 6 field goals, and I liked our coverage as well. We had one long punt return, which was good to see Dwayne Peace and our punt return team get going as well. And then as a team, what we talked about last week and we'll continue to talk about is penalties. We had 3 penalties, and they had 11 for 90 yards. So I thought all that combined, you know, allowed us to come away with the win in the fashion that we did. So I was proud of our guys. And again, going back to the broken record comment, I felt like we won this game with our preparation last week. So moving forward, again, it's been a short week, and as I stand here, I know it's Tuesday for us in our program. It's actually technically Thursday because of what we're doing as a staff, what we're doing for practice today, and in our minds it's 2 days prior to kickoff. So it's been quick in preparation. That was a major point that we've stressed to our players this week, is although a number of things, although we've won the last couple of games, and although it is a short week, there's no excuse for not preparing like you have, and again, preparing even better than you did the last couple of weeks. So that's something we're continuing to preach. And again, you know, we're playing a team for us on the road. They're back home. SMU's back home. They've got a veteran coaching staff. They got a veteran team. And for myself, Coach Spavital, some of our seniors that have been here 5 years, 4 years, and you look at the players they're playing with, it may resemble our team last year when people looked at us and said, wow, I can't believe this quarterback and these receivers are still at Houston. And when you look at, you know, Zach Line, he's a guy, it seems like he's been there forever. The Hunt kid, their defensive lineman, who in my opinion might be the best special teams player in the nation. He seems like he's been there forever. So they've got, when you look at, they've got 3 senior defensive linemen starting for them, and they run a 3-4. The linebackers that have been there, you know, the Reed kid, the Davis kid, they've been there forever. So it's a veteran team, it's a veteran staff. You know, Coach Jones has been there 5 years now, and they've got great familiarity with what they do. So, you know, it's something that it's going to be a great challenge for us. And again, like I told the team before we played UAB, when you look at the teams in our conference, the team I'm most concerned with is Houston. So we've got to take care of the football and offense. We've got to tackle on defense. We've obviously in this game we've got to go in and have an understanding of what they do with their field goal block personnel and schemes, and do a great job in our protection and in our coverage. You know, again, not only do I have the utmost respect for Coach Jones, Frank Gans Jr. is our special teams coordinator. You know, he's considered the best in the country. He's been doing this a long time. You know, again, against us last year, they had the fake punt, which was successful. They had a kickoff return throwback. They've got a number of surprise onside kickoffs in their repertoire. So it's going to be it's going to take a great team effort to win this football game on the road in a short 5 days of preparation. So I like what we've done so far this week. You know, I was a little concerned coming out of the game on Saturday. I thought we'd be a little bit more banged up than we are. Trayvon Stewart and Zeke Reiser both made great recoveries, and they'll be full speed for the game. And again, you know, the guy that was injured last week, Lloyd Allen, will still be doubtful for this game. So I like where we're at right now. We got to continue to prepare and take it 1 week at a time, one game at a time. And again, now we're down to a 6-game season. Any questions?
To be at 500 right now is a lot better off than you were before conference play. The wins starting at that point, moving forward, are you still telling the guys one game at a time, or is it a different attitude, different mentality?
Well, I think with the last couple of results, I think our players are building confidence. You know, I don't, when you say we're 500 or 3-0 since the bye or 2-0 in conference, you know, I'm not looking at our record a whole lot, if that makes sense. And I'm, you know, I wish I could stand up here and I'm just giving you cliches, but I'm not. I don't. We're on to the next game. Biggest game of the year is this game because it's the next game. And what we did last game has zero bearing on this upcoming game. What SMU did last game has no bearing on this upcoming game. You know, you look across college football. You go back 2 weeks ago, there were a couple of programs that had major wins this season for their program, and there were a couple of programs that on the same weekend had pretty significant losses, and then they play the next week, and you know, the so-called experts say, well, these two teams don't even need to play because this team's going to win, and you come out and the other team wins handily. So you know, it's. I said this the other day, I think after the game in our locker room, we don't have any of the games we've played up to this point are not anywhere in our locker room. We don't talk about them. We're on to the next one. In fact, we're not. We didn't watch the UAB game with our players. We told them, you want to watch it, you need to come in on your own. We pulled out a small handful of plays that we needed to show them to make some corrections. We still had our meeting Sunday night where I showed them this specific plays on why we won the game. But you know, I think what's happened the last 3 weeks is our players have gained confidence in what it takes to win football games and the preparation that needs to go in. But other than that, we're looking solely at SMU.
Tony, would it be a fair analysis to say in Shane Ross and his emergence the last couple of weeks, you guys probably have filled the Justin Johnson role from the last few years on the offense? Is that the type of way y'all look to use him?
Not necessarily, maybe. I don't mean to disagree with the question if how Shane Ross has emerged kind of fills Justin Johnson's role. And maybe there's a parallel there with the special teams. I can see that. You know, again, Shane starts on 7 of our special teams. Justin was very similar in that respect. I wouldn't hesitate. Shane Ross has shown us that he could and is a starter for us on offense. I mean, there's no hesitation in playing him. He's tough. He's got great hands. He's physical. He knows the offense. He's smart. Gives great effort. Is a tremendous blocker. So he's earned that, which obviously Justin Johnson was. I don't know. I can see the comparisons. I don't know that. Again, I'm not big into comparing current players with previous players, but we don't sit up there as a staff and say, well, we've got some other things we can do. Justin was more of a 225-pound guy where we could also put him in the backfield, also play him at tight end. But I see the similarities with their roles being both offense and in the kicking game, without question.
And also, can you share a little bit about the unique task you guys have with Zach Line this week, being one of the top rushers in Conference USA?
Yeah, I mean, he may be the best. A lot of people think Zach Line's the best running back in Conference USA. I think he's one of the best in the country. I had the pleasure of meeting him this past spring at the Conference USA head coaches meetings, and a couple things about him just in my short time visiting with him and Coach Jones. But I mean, talk about a great young man, and talk about a kid that looks the part. I mean, he is. I think he's undersized on their depth chart. I mean, he's as pretty of a running back I've seen in a long time. All of 6'1" and 235 pounds of muscle. So he's a great player for them. He's going to be a huge challenge for us. I mean, he is their workhorse when they run the football. They snap it to the Gilbert kid, who's got a ton of experience, and then if they're not throwing it, which they do quite a bit, they're handing it to Zach and getting yards. And I think that's going to be our challenge defensively, is to continue to work on stopping the run. It starts with him.
Coach, SMU is obviously coming off a loss last week, one that some people didn't expect. And with their Conference USA lives on, do you expect a desperate team this week?
A desperate team?
Yes. On
their end or our end?
On their end.
No, I don't expect a desperate team at all. This to me is very, very similar to Houston Rice in the sense it's in-state. Again, I don't like talking about this, but next year Houston and SMU will still be in the same conference. So, and very similar that our staff knows a bunch of their coaches and vice versa. We've recruited a bunch of their players. They recruited a bunch of ours. So this is a deal where, number one, again, you can throw the records out when Houston and SMU play. And again, just going back to what I said earlier, in college football right now, what happened last week across the country has zero effect, in my opinion, on the upcoming game. Doesn't matter who you're playing, in my opinion. So the moment that a team takes an opponent lightly, you're going to have some problems. So we've got great respect for them. They've got great players. Again, you just look at their depth chart and see all the guys that are seniors for them and have 3L next to their name, meaning they've lettered already 3 times. It's going to be a big game for us and a big challenge. Mm-hmm.
Philip Stewart, can you just talk about what he...
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just the second time that Philip Stewart has been named Defensive Player of the Week, and this week he actually had to share it. But what does he mean to this defense? And were you with him when he found out he received the honor, and how did he react?
Philip Stewart is a guy who, I go back to 4 years ago when he was a true freshman, and he used to talk to me early that season because he was on all the special teams. And in week 2 or 3 at Oklahoma State, as a true freshman, he had 6 tackles on kickoff coverage. And then I believe a game or 2 later, we had a linebacker go out with a season-ending injury. Then Philip became a starter for us on defense as a true freshman. And to see his growth off the field, on the field, and go from an 18-year-old true freshman to now a 21, 22-year-old senior, 4-year starter, and to see how much better he's gotten. And again, you could see it in him as a true freshman, but now he's a guy, when you talk about young men that when the game is over, they've left it all on the field. I mean, there's sometimes, as a coach, you want to get a little frustrated with him because the offense is about to snap the football, and he's not even in a stance. and his jersey's untucked, and he's got sweat dripping all over the place, and the ball snapped, and next thing you know, he's doing a celebration dance 4 yards in the backfield with a sack or a tackle for loss. When the ball snapped, he plays as hard and as fast as anybody we've got, and I couldn't be more proud of him. Again, he was recognized as a leader of our program, as being voted captain by his teammates, and I think the world of him. You know, he's gained weight in his time here. He's done everything we've asked him to do, and he's a major key ingredient for what we're doing right now successfully on the defensive side of the football.
Coach, you had talked about what Coach Bryant had come up with in the last game to maybe blitz a little bit more. Is that going to be a game by game in terms of what the other team offers, or did you like what you saw enough where will you continue to blitz a little bit more, or will you incorporate that stuff a little bit more?
Well, it's a couple things. It's always game by game in all three phases. You know, how we're going to try to attack our opponent. You know, I think we feel like right now, not only does our defense like blitzing, but there's certain guys that are good at it. So, you know, while you concern yourself with what the opponent does, you've also got to understand as a coach what you do well. And I think that's something we've identified when you're got a chance to blitz Derek Matthews or Phillip Stewart or even Everett Daniels, and sometimes our safeties, you know, Trayvon Stewart, Colton Valencia at times. We're making plays when we are aggressive defensively like that. So that's something we're going to continue to do. You know, at what percentage depends a little bit on who we're playing and what they do. But I think it's something we're good at. It's something the kids enjoy doing. You know, there's no accident, in my opinion, that we got to the quarterback 20 times Saturday, and a bunch of those were by our linebackers.
And at the defensive tackle, you had mentioned Tommy Mark, how he played. At that position right now, I mean, is he and Scipion still, you know, sharing time, or how is that?
No, Sip got banged up against North Texas and had to leave the game, and he was day-to-day leading up to the UAB game. And then we felt like in warm-ups he looked okay. We sent him out in the game, and he played 2 snaps, and he could not go, which is why you saw Tommy Mark play a lot more, which is why you saw Eric Braswell play a lot more, and even Jeremiah Farley on our 3-down stuff went in there at nose and had a sack. So Sip played 2 snaps. He has practiced this week, and we expect him to play Thursday night. But Tommy's done a great job. When Sip is back, it's been Sip and Tommy rotating.